just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good time. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in and say,
oh, God.
So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. Helmet. He's punching me in the stomach, like, steady punching me.
Here, and there's everyone sitting around. Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I fucking saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
Be on the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time to start the show. Why would I have that?
You had the circus or something.
6'3", I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they're
all fatter than I am.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
I mean, you're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, March 27th. We are just getting out of a LSU series win at home, opening of the SEC home slate. LSU wins 2 out of 3. Rocky start on Friday, swept the doubleheader on Saturday. We're going to get into that. We're going to run through the Heineken headlines. Jay Johnson is live, not in studio, via video call at 6:10. He's going to come in here for 20 minutes. I appreciate his time. He's got his show from TJ Ribs at 7 tonight.
Delicious.
So I haven't been to TJ Ribs in a minute.
Ever.
It used to be the spot where you go after travel tournaments.
That was.
You come in from Lafayette because right by the interstate, you go right there, and boom.
That was the only time I've ever been was for USSSA tournament. And you get to see.
They write your name upside down.
Yeah, the Billy Cannon Heisman trophy is there.
Yep, no doubt.
That's TJRibs.com.
That's TJ Ribs, and they're still doing it. All the coaches shows are from there. So Jay Johnson is there tonight at 7, but he's coming on our show at 6:10. We're gonna ask him some questions, talk about the weekend, preview a little bit of the Tennessee game, try to get milk as much of that 20 minutes as we possibly can. Women's basketball is moving on to the Final Four. Congratulations.
We'll skip the coaches show.
What's that?
Maybe we'll get him to skip the coaches show.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Women's basketball is into the Final Four, and Kim Mulkey, in her second year at LSU, her second year at the helm, after taking over for a team that had single-digit losses 2 years ago, they are now in the Final Four. It is probably ahead of schedule in everybody else's mind, and she'll say that, they're winning faster than she expected. In her head, I know this is what she expected. They're in the Final Four. They are one win away from making it to the finals with a possible rematch against South Carolina. Now, we're going to get into this. I think Iowa has a shot to take down South Carolina because of Caitlin Clark, and they're just going to shoot them out the building. You can't beat them down low.
When you can score like that.
When you can shoot like that and you can spread them out, like you have a shot. So it's going to be interesting. I'm locked in. Caitlin Clark is much-watched TV. LSU women's basketball is much-watched. Obviously, they're in the Final Four. I've talked to a lot of people that are going to Houston. Congratulations to them. Joe Ratty is coming in at 7 o'clock.
Dallas, right? Dallas.
I mean, Dallas.
Yeah.
I said Houston. Dallas. The Final Four men's is in Houston. Joe Ratty, who's the assistant director of sports operations or something for the women's basketball team, is coming in studio again like he normally does. He's going to be there. He's their unofficial hype man of the women's basketball team. He's going to talk about what it was like, what the locker room was like, what the flight back was like, and how they're preparing for the Final Four. So it was a big weekend for LSU sports, like a huge weekend, right? Obviously, baseball does their thing. Women's basketball does their thing. Former LSU golfer. Wow.
Thanks, Lloyd.
That must be Jay Johnson coming
Thanks,
up.
Lloyd.
Little Thunder.
Dylan Cruz must be hitting BP.
Yeah. Sam Burns wins the Dell match play. It's the last one that they're having, right? They're not doing that anymore from there.
Well, there's a lot of debate going on around.
They should. They should have more match play events.
I
Because that
agree.
was electric. And not only did he win, he absolutely hammered Cameron Young.
Well, and he had to beat Scheffler. In the,
No, that was a consolation.
No, in the semis.
Oh, yeah. And they had over, sudden death or over, extra holes.
But he's going to get
Playoff
world number
ones.
one.
No doubt. And that's their best friends. Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns are best friends. They grew up playing against each other.
It's
One's
the,
from Shreveport, one's from Dallas.
The Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas.
No doubt.
All those
No
golfers
doubt.
are intertangled.
Yeah, a lot of similarities to the
Very
baseball world
incestuous.
whenever you start coming up playing against each other. But he wins after 13 holes. Didn't even play the last 5. So congratulations to Sam Burns. So yeah, we got a good show today. I'm excited about the show.
A lot of LSU.
I'm excited about. It's always a lot of LSU at this time because there's really not much going on. The draft's coming up.
Spring training's coming to a
Spring
close.
training's coming to a close. Trey Turner is still hitting homers. JT Realmuto is getting thrown out by umpires because they want all the attention. We're gonna get into that as well.
Spring training's long, man. Some of those guys get a little testy at the end of it.
Spring training
Gosh.
for the umpires, too.
Umpires like to be felt like hey, I'm here. I'm gonna show you that I'm here. Don't disrespect me, or I'm gonna make an example out of you. And that's what he did. And he honestly he embarrassed himself.
I feel like we'll get into that with Jay a little bit.
Maybe we'll ask him about that. I don't think that's we'll talk about the other umpire conversations that they had throughout the course of the weekend because
They talked a lot.
if you watch the game, there was a couple incidents where the umpire had to be the no fun police and calm down LSU from celebrating or doing whatever, and I don't think he really had a reason to do that. But this weekend was an enormous weekend. They lost Friday. They were kind of getting out. I mean, they were getting outpitched. Obviously, Paul Skeens threw a gem. I think he punched out 11 or 12 again through 7 innings. Had given up 1 run, and it was kind of like guy had 0-2. He left the ball over the plate, got the head out, hit the double down the line. Then he gets upset because he made a mistake and throws a wild pitch. Guy gets third, then sac fly. And after that, it was shut down city. No more runs. Brady Neal hits the Oppo homer in the 8th inning to tie the game. At that point, you felt like, oh, here we go. We're going to win. And then you go to the extras, and the wheels kind of fall off. Christian Little kind of loses the feel for the strike zone again like he did on Sunday. Walks some guys, gives up some hits, gives up the 3-run homer. Bring in who they bring in? Helmers. They bring in Helmers. He comes in there, gets the first guy, I think, then walks the next guy, then gives up a grand slam. And at that point, the wheels had fallen off. And it was a tough Friday. It's tough to waste a start like that. But the way they bounced back on Saturday was probably the most impressive thing I've seen through the weekend. They went out on
Maybe this year.
Because that's 2 straight SEC losses, Sunday and Friday, that they lost in a game that they probably should have won, right? Sunday they played extremely well against Texas A&M. They get to the back end of the game, kind of have the same type of situation, lose the field throwing strikes, get guys on base, kind of give some free passes. They lose the game. You go to Friday, similar stuff. Different type of game, pitchers duel,
I gotta
one-to-one.
imagine when we get to the start of the 8th and we've only given up 1 run on a Friday with Skeens on the mound. In your mind, you got to be like, this has to be a win.
No doubt. No, I think LSU kind of did some things to themselves as far as base running. You know what I mean? They got back picked at first base, and they ran themselves out of 2 innings, right? The 2 innings that before they hit the homer, the 2 innings that they felt like they could have had big innings, they kind of had some base running miscues. That happens. You don't want to see that continue to happen, but they weren't allowing themselves to kind of have that big inning. And they let Arkansas, who's a good team, stay around. Arkansas threw their best 2 arms on Friday, and it showed. And they're able to come up with a win. But like you said before, a lot on the show, winning series is the most important thing. You want to get some sweeps, you will get some sweeps. Those will happen. Winning 2 out of 3 is the most important thing that you can do, and they did that. They took care of business. They had Sunday off. Listen, Louisiana weather's been a little fickle recently. 2 games get moved up. Somehow the rain does that. That's just Louisiana. That's nobody's fault. That's just the crazy Louisiana weather. And you know what? The boys got 2 games on Saturday. They had the ability just to hang out and chill on Sunday. So
I'm sure they chilled.
They had a good time. I'm sure they did chill. Maybe after celebrating on Saturday, I'm sure they chilled on Sunday.
Airing it all.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna take a 30-second break.
5 second.
We're gonna take a 30-second break and get Jay ready to go, and we'll be right back. You're watching Mik'd Up. Actually, you know what? Let's go. Ask Mikey and Mitch right now is brought to you by our friends at FCO Development.
Okay.
There we go. Let's give them a shout out. Right? I didn't give the read to it. FCO Development's a civil construction. You go ahead and read it, Lloyd.
I'm putting together the Ask Mikey and Mitch.
FCO Development is a civil construction company that specializes in new multifamily construction. They specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthworks, site clearing, house pads, ponds, demo work, hurricane cleanup. So basically anything that is moving dirt, getting a site ready to be built on vertically, has nothing to do with mathematics. Like Lloyd tried to say on Monday, he said he wasn't very sure. He didn't know what was happening with. He's not good at math, but
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, but math doesn't. You don't need math. I'm sure maybe there's some sort of thing, but
if Tyler works there,
you're not doing any equations or anything like that.
Quadratic formula.
Yeah, you're not doing the Pythagorean theorem or anything like that. And if you're interested, right? These guys are based out of Lafayette. They do a lot of work. They are very experienced in the industry. They've been doing it for their entire lives. And if you're interested and need any help, or you want somebody to do a project for you, call Tyler today at 318-229-5585. Again, the number is 318-229-5585. They are based out of Lafayette, but they will travel. They will come to you, and they're very good people. They're upstanding people, and they do a very good job. So our friends at FCO Development, Ask Mikey Mitch is brought to you by our friends at FCO Development. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're excited. We only have a few minutes with the head coach himself. It's Jay Johnson Mondays. Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know you're limited in time, so I appreciate any time that we get with you. Congratulations on this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course. Let's jump into it. Obviously Friday, the game gets moved up because of the threat of rain, threat of the storm, which was a doozy. Luckily, it avoided us. Louisiana weather's crazy. I know I can't fault you. I can't fault you for moving the game because it looked like it was going to be in nasty weather, and then that's just what happens. It happens all the time with hurricanes. You'll get used to it. It's fine.
Definitely a here thing.
Yeah, it happens all the time. But so the game played out probably how maybe people who are close to baseball expected it to. 2 really good arms. They threw their 2 best guys. It was 1-1 game going into the 10th inning, and then the wheels kind of fell off. But then y'all bounce back on Saturday and sweep in kind of a route fashion. How did you like the response, and what was the message to the team through the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, you love the response, and I mean, to be this deep in the season and only have 3 losses, that shows consistency in performance by the team. But each time we've lost, you can't ask for much more. I think we lost to Iowa, and then won 16-4 the next day against a team that's in first place and has 16 wins already. We lost to Texas A&M and came out on Tuesday and won 10-4, and then lost on Friday. And tough game, high-level SEC game with real pitching. And Saturday, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, to get a 10-run win and a 14-5 win, falling behind in both games as well. And so the character of these guys is great. They're certainly talented, but they're made up of the right stuff and an easy crew to get behind.
You talked about adversity. You talked about getting through it, kind of managing the adversity. Ty Floyd started the game for the first game on Saturday, right? He gets down 2-0, gives up the 2-run homer, and then you think it's going to be a quick inning. All of a sudden, it kind of balloons a little bit. 34, 35 pitches. Bullpen starts to get hot. He gets out of that inning. He comes back in. What was the message between him, you, and Wes? Because after he came back out, he looked like a whole different pitcher. He was locating his breaking ball. Everything. He had 3 pitches that was working for him. What was the message that y'all had for him?
Yeah, I mean, that was a phenomenal performance and one we really, really needed, particularly in this weekend against that team, which has a lot of future big league hitters, in my opinion, in that lineup. I mean, there are some guys that are a threat to leave the yard every time they swing. I'm not usually going out to the mound unless it's going to be a pitching change, but I went out there in the first inning just knowing, like, hey, we're going to score today. And just to try to give him some confidence. And he got us out of that inning, striking out the next 2 guys, which was huge. And then him and Wes kind of shuffled the deck a little bit on what they were doing between the first and the second inning. And then as our offense does, it picked us up in the second inning with that 4 spot. Big RBI double by Jordan, 2-run homer by Gavin, and then a solo homer by Trey. And then it felt like the crowd got into it. Ty fed off of that. And then we controlled the momentum of the game for the rest of the day, which was awesome.
So Gavin gives the big 2-run homer. Trey hits the solo homer. Seemed to be something either coming from the Arkansas dugout and or from the umpire himself after the Trey homer. You pull the team together. What was said? Because everybody seemed to kind of get up to go there. What was said there?
Yeah, so first off, they warned him you can't flip the bat above your head.
How high can the bat? Like, it has to stay right below?
I don't know. I'm shocked. That's our first warning. If that's the rule.
What if you got one of those, like, finish the swing and, like, at the end of the swing the bat goes up? That's not good, right?
These guys got the bat flip thing down.
Yeah, they do.
We need to get the bat flip thing down, apparently.
So the umpire explains to me it's a warning, and he's going to kick the next guy out of the game. Well, Dylan Cruz is walking up to the plate, and I go, well, I need to call offensive timeout right now because this guy's probably going to hit a homer.
And I definitely don't need him out the game.
He needs to stay in the game. We need this guy in the lineup.
Yeah, and I was like, by all means, like, kick me out if you need to, but don't.
Speaking of Dylan Cruz, right? Obviously, you can't say enough about him. He's been the best player. His average continues to climb up. If he goes 2 for 4 in a game, his average goes down, but he's not doing that. He's getting 3 hits a game, and then followed up with Tommy White. Both of them had monster weekends. Do you feel like this offense is kind of starting to catch their stride and kind of, whenever the big moment arises, they're just getting those big hits now?
I just think they're really solid in their approach and solid in their plan. I don't even know about getting in stride. I think we're leading the country in runs per game. Like, it's been pretty consistent. It kind of takes a special effort to slow us down, and I'm pleased with what they're doing. And it's talent across the board. It's a lot of guys that can make a contribution. We have depth, so you can kind of match up a little bit and put them in a good spot. But they're just consistent in knowing if they do A, B, C, and D well, we're going to be successful. And very few times have they gotten away from their plan, and they deserve a lot of credit for that because when they stay in their plan with their talent, we score a lot of runs.
Sign me up for 2 RBIs a game. I'll take that any and every day, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you got, talk to me a little bit about Gavin Dugas. Throughout the season so far, he's been literally the jack of all trades. A guy that you've been able to plug in seemingly anywhere in the lineup, and you've gotten very professional, very consistent production from him. How big has he been for this team so far?
Yeah, huge. I was talking about this. Somebody asked me about this earlier today, and I think you have 2 things going for you with Gavin. Number one, he has a lot of experience, and I've always said playing time is the best coach anybody's ever going to have in their life. Just getting reps and experience under their belt. He certainly has that as a 5th-year senior. but something's changed this year in terms of the preparation piece. Like, this guy is type A personality about how he's going about what he's doing. As far as his defensive work, he still hasn't made an error at second base, which is remarkable when you think about the position switch. His pregame that he does both offensively and defensively, he's just really mastered that. And he's always a confident guy, but I think he's just playing with supreme confidence right now, as he should. And he's strong and got that man strength going as a 23-year-old. It's professional at bats. Like, it's really awesome to see. He's doing something that's elevated our team that not many guys can really bring to the table, and it's awesome to see.
Before I jump to the bullpen and talking about the pitching side, on Friday, obviously, look, y'all played extremely well. On Friday, y'all had a couple of – this is the first time it kind of reared its head as far as the base running goes. Obviously, the back pick at first base and the base running at third base.
Can't happen.
Whoa, easy. Easy over there. Jesus. I'm sure he told them that, okay? But, in a game like that, whenever it's hard to score runs, it's hard to kind of get some momentum going. Both those innings felt like that was the momentum, and then the guy didn't have a chance at the plate. What's the message? How did you relay that message to them? And obviously that's something that's important.
Yeah, like, people always ask me, like, what do you say to the team after a loss, or, was there some, like, spark moment? And really, after the game, like, I just said, hey, give me 5 minutes. Let's talk in the locker room. We need to break down a few things that happen, because those small things in close games, they rear their head more. And what I mean, or they get exposed more. And, for, I don't know how many games we played last year, 62 and 24, 25 into this season, we haven't made very many base running mistakes. Like, we probably work on base running as much as any team in the country. It might surprise some people, and it was super out of character. And so we addressed it, and then we learned from it, and then we move on. This is not a consistent problem, in our program. We made 2 bad plays. Really bad play. Cost us a very close game. Maybe they cost us a close game because we still needed a 2-out hit in either situation to score either of those runs. I like our chances because we've been great with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. But you addressed it and then move on. Talk about impact. Talk about things we're doing well. Our guys are doing great at getting no catch reads in the outfield. Where the outfielders are playing, we're doing a great job of going first to third or first to home on doubles. And, so we address it and move on.
Speaking of momentum, has there been, the Friday night game happens how it does, then the Saturday 2 games happen how they do. Being around ball for so long, usually with good teams, there's usually a feeling of something or some things that usually start to happen that you get a feel for that makes you feel like, all right, they're about to start rolling. Have you kind of been able to like pinpoint that or put a finger on what that is with this team yet?
I think it's so day to day, because the pitcher for both teams has so much control of it. I think, it's about execution. It's about executing your plan and your fundamentals. I certainly try to come up with things as the leader that will help drive or inspire us for a day, and we try to treat every game like a playoff game, because in reality, that's what college baseball is. It's a 56-game playoff to just get to the playoffs or get to the point where you can host a regional or a super regional. So there's certainly some of that, but it's about ability, it's about character, it's about execution. We have great ability. We have great character. They know how to respond to failure. They know how to not get complacent with success. And then they know how to execute a plan from the mound, from the batter's box, from the field as a team and togetherness. And so we really just try to keep it about that and be as low drama as we possibly can.
Love low drama. Low drama is a good thing. You talked a little bit earlier about Garrett Edwards and how impressive he's been and how he had to earn the spot throughout the fall and the early of the spring. He looked great this weekend. Obviously, he threw a little bit on the first game on Saturday and then threw again. He looked really good. He looked sharp. Fastball was exploding. Can we expect to see him with a little bit more of an expanded role moving forward? Is he like I don't know if you're trying to make any changes in the back end, but is he somebody that you're going to look more into maybe at the back end of games?
Well, I mean, for me, one of our best pitchers is always going to be in the bullpen. I think you gain so much confidence from winning close games, and you do that when you have guys that you can really trust at the end of the game. And if you look at like his outings going back, he's kind of come in and turned some games for us that haven't ended up the final score being close, but were close at the time and came in really high leverage spots and executed. So I have full trust in him to do that, and yeah, he's going to continue to do that.
Griffin, 2 outings this weekend. I'm sure there was conversations going into the week with you and him about what he was going to have, what was going to be going on for him that week. The kid was super impressive. What's his outlook going forward from here?
Yeah, he's a dude, and he's one of those guys, and there's a few of them on both sides of the ball, the pitchers and the position players, where, man, I want to get him more time. And it kind of hadn't worked out. And there was really no explanation for it. I mean, other than we lost some innings because of some 10-run rule stuff, that type of thing. But I really, really trust him. The ability is really, really good. And then the mindset piece is really, really good as well. So what you saw this weekend, you'll start to see on a very regular basis because we trust him a lot.
Love it.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Just a few more questions. I know you got to get out of here. You have your show. But Thursday night, you have a rare Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against Tennessee. Obviously, everybody knows Tennessee. Everybody likes to talk about Tennessee. But that Thursday night game is going to feature a lot of top-tier, top of the first round draft picks. And Dollander and Skeens and Cruz and all these guys that are going to be on the field. What can fans expect to see from that game? Because I've been looking forward to that game just because of the talent on the field and how high level of baseball it's going to be. What can they expect to see from that game?
Yeah, somebody brought that to my attention today, and I was thinking from a Major League Baseball scouting standpoint, you'd be hard-pressed to maybe find a matchup like that ever. I'm sure it would have been in the SEC at some time. But, that's something else. And, we're trying to recruit at a high level and develop at a high level. They've done a great job recruiting. I mean, their roster is loaded. It's been loaded for a few years. And it should be a great night for college baseball. If it's anything like the atmosphere on Saturday night, I can't wait. That was something I've never seen before.
Yeah, talk about that. That is your first SEC night game at Alex Box. I mean, this year, right? With the hype and everything. Like, how was that? Because you can feel the buzz around the city, but I can imagine you can feel the buzz, in Alex Box Stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. When the TV schedule came out, we saw we didn't have a Saturday night game, and I actually called the office to we need to get this pushed back, and somehow we landed okay, it'll be all right, and then it's awesome that it worked out that way. But that was something else. I mean, I really, really hat tip to the fans, because that was I've never seen a regular season game like that anywhere at any time. And normally I'm all right. If somebody hits a homer, it's like, okay, who's up next? What does he need to do to keep the offense moving? Is the pitcher set for the next inning? And I think when Tommy hit the 3-run homer, I looked around for a second and was like, holy moly, this is pretty awesome.
Coach, they were giving him a curtain call before the curtain call.
I got too much going on to worry about that. But, I'll put that on my list. Hey, man, get out there and do a curtain call. Yeah. So.
Hey, I don't want to skip over tomorrow night's matchup. It's a big game. I understand that. But when it comes to this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, has there or will there be any conversation with the team about basically not getting lost in the sauce of everything that kind of goes on with this matchup and, kind of sticking to baseball, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, the last 2 weekends have been the same as this. And you're talking about all we've played is 3 preseason top 10 teams, meaning these first 3 weekends of SEC play. Yeah. And Texas A&M has good players, Arkansas has good players, Tennessee has good players, LSU has a lot of really good players. So I think I think last weekend playing at home, that experience of last weekend will help us this weekend. I actually think there was a learning curve for us on Friday. Because that was, even though it was at noon, it was awesome. Great environment. And I thought we were much more settled in on Saturday than we were on Friday. So my hope is that our players are ready to roll and we just use our home field as a serious advantage.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm going to be in that number on Thursday. I can't wait to watch y'all play. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you always coming on the show. Love having these conversations with you. Wish we had more time, but I know you got prior engagements. Good luck this weekend. Good luck tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to watch y'all and talk with you next week.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Appreciate it. As always, he's a rock star. As always.
The man is a machine.
And I know he's kind of he's not hyping it up as much as a lot of people are. Like he's gonna downplay it a little bit, right? Which you have to, right? It's coach speak. That's what you're supposed to do. But when I say that this weekend, this Thursday, is going to be one of the best baseball matchups that you're going to be able to see, both of these pitchers are going to be in the big leagues in less than 2 years, right? You're going to have a center fielder for LSU that's going to be in the big leagues in less than 2 years. You're going to have other pitchers. You're going to have 3 probably other starters that are going to pitch this weekend that are going to be first rounders and probably be in the Major League Baseball.
The Saturday guy, too.
That's my point. Their Friday, Saturday guy, probably all 3 of LSU starters, maybe their Tennessee Sunday guy. There's so much talent on the field at the same time. And then obviously you have the whole Tennessee.
Which is what I was asking.
Right.
I was like, outside of what you're just going to get pure baseball-wise, what they bring in as far as for their aura and how they go about things and how they play plays into everything you want it to be in a weekend series at the box when there's the real kind of hype around a team.
No doubt.
That's like he just said what you saw Saturday night, and that was the first time he ever kind of got real goosebumps here. I think that's going to be the whole weekend this weekend.
No doubt, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to – listen. I guess I should – I'm not going to announce where it's going to be. I don't know where it's going to be, but we're tailgating Thursday.
We got a big week.
We're going to have a mic'd up tailgate.
Hey, we got a big week coming this week.
You got a huge week.
A huge week.
I'm looking forward to this week. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun baseball weekend. Look, you got a Thursday night primetime game on ESPNU, I believe. And then you play again on Friday night, and then I'm imagining the Saturday game's a day game, right? So you have 3 games, 2 at night, 1 during the day on a Saturday where you can still go kind of pregame before the weekend, before you go out. And it's a gift. It's a college baseball gift because it's going to be electric. There's going to be a ton of scouts there. There's going to be a ton of people there. And it shouldn't be understated that how I'm excited. How excited I am. You should look forward to this, right? So I'm looking at LSU's numbers, right? I had a conversation with
Before you get into the numbers, where do you compare this to series that y'all have been into before, where it feels like even before the year started?
I'll tell you one.
So, here? At
home or just in SC
in general? Where
are you going to say the one I'm thinking of?
Well, 2009.
On the road.
At Georgia.
There you go.
Right? So Georgia was the number 2. It was number 1 versus number 2.
Beckham?
No, it was the year after. It was the year after they lost to Fresno State, right? So they had a guy. They had the lineup. Their lineup. Now this is with the Juice Bats, but their lineup could smash, right? And they hit a ton of homers. And Athens is kind of a bandbox. The ball doesn't really fly.
It's a straight up bandbox.
Yeah, and they had some good arms and they were good. But we went in there as the number 1 team in the country on the road, and we took 2 out of 3. Well, the Sunday game, I believe it was, when it was the rubber match. Their center fielder.
Hate those.
What's his last name?
I think his last name was Cerrone. I don't remember his first name.
Cerrone. He hits a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 5th inning. Oppo into the hedges, runs around, hits third base. The minute he hits third base, takes his helmet off, jogs down, jump stops on home plate, and shoots it like a 3-pointer, right? In the mosh pit of players. So
what
obviously
inning? What inning?
It was the bottom of the 5th. So it was a 3-run homer to put them up by I think 1 or 2. Top of the 6th, they bring in, I think it was Holder, somebody throwing. He had a big break, hard hitter, but a big breaking ball. I hit a 3-run homer, and took me 25 seconds to run around the base. I got booed by their fans. And that's the type of energy. That's what I would imagine Tennessee LSU would be this weekend, right? Like there's going to be a lot of responses from each team, and that makes it fun. Now, if you do it the right way, right? If you do it the right way. Now, I mean, that's one. The Arkansas game that year, the series that year was pretty hyped. That's when remember when Lewis, they had the 7-inning. We had the 2-7. The Friday game got rained out.
Yeah.
And we had to play 2 games on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was 2 7-innings, and Coleman pitched. Like, we lost the first one, then Coleman threw the night game. He threw like a 7-inning, like 2-hit shutout, like shoved it up their ass. And then Sunday, we ended up winning that game. Remember, it was like Anthony hit the catcher in the face. No, that was on.
That had to be the Friday.
I think that was the Friday game.
Yeah,
that was a Friday game. But yeah, like that.
The Ole Miss series here that year too is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. That's what happens, right? And like this one's the biggest one now. I don't know. I should know the entire schedule, but like, does LSU play Vandy this year?
No.
Nope.
And they don't play Florida?
No.
Nope.
Right? So the two of the best teams in the West, the East outside of Tennessee, they don't play. So this would be outside of the in-conference, like in-division games. This is the biggest series of the year.
I would say the first 3 series that they had on the SEC schedule are probably 3 of their like best series that you're going to find all year.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, as the season gets later, games mean more, so things can kind of ratchet up because they play South Carolina this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
That could end up being a really good one as well.
South Carolina,
that could end up being a really good one as well. So things ratchet up.
I tell you what,
but just looking at it,
Columbia.
5 points.
Huh?
5 points is like the bars there.
Oh, I don't know, but I know. I mean, I love South Carolina. Like that, it's pretty out there. It's nice.
Yeah.
Columbia's nice.
Ask Steven Garcia.
Oh, I mean,
he's got like multiple DUIs.
Yeah, his experience there is probably a little different than my experience, but
no, that's a great experience. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I mean, I haven't had a DUI. I mean,
well, no, they just told
so I haven't had one of those there. So I think we have.
I've been there once in my life playing. It was like when they opened their stadium, and Jared told some guy that he probably swims with a shirt on in the outfield. It was great. He was a big fat guy.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that was great. I love that.
You only rank number 2 to Albert Bell that tried to actually fight somebody in Mississippi State.
This guy was wearing Jared out, and it wasn't like good stuff. And he says something, and Jared, in his only way,
Jared.
He turns around, he finally sees who it is, and this big fat dude, bro, with a shirt on. He has a pitch change. He goes, "Hey, I'm not even mad at you because you're probably the dude that swims with a shirt on."
At the wave pool.
The entire student section lost it.
It went nuts.
And he just like shriveled into his seat.
It was over. At that point, Jared was the guy.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm glad it's on a Thursday night, because we have nothing going on. Like, we can get there. I really am serious about the tailgate. We're gonna get it set up, and get it rolling.
When,
but
how?
What?
Do we have a where, when, and how?
No, but we're going to have one. I mean, I know there's going to be a tailgate. I don't know the time yet. We're going to figure that out. But I know there's going to be a tailgate. We're going to do it. I think I got a parking pass right next to the stadium, so we're going to be right there.
The beauty like this weekend.
Well, the beauty of baseball is you don't really have to assign tailgating spots. Yeah. Like if you park there, you just, so we're going to do it. There. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I want to get into some of these numbers, though, before we move on.
But before we get into a particular person's numbers, remember a couple of weeks ago we were kind of like talking about the team and we were like, oh, they're hitting this as a team and that's ungodly. Well, we've got 2 SEC weekends in there and they're still hitting 330 as a team on the year.
330.
I think it actually went up because it's at 332.
Well, look, I'm looking at their lineup right now, right? Out of guys who have 50 at-bats, so these are the top guys, that the most at-bats on the team, 50-plus at-bats. You have all but 3 guys hitting 300, and Jordan Thompson's hitting 291. If Jordan Thompson's laser in the right center field gap doesn't get caught, it should have been another double. He'd be hitting 300. So that's basically 7 out of 9 guys hitting 300 for the year. Like, that's pretty. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. And then you got guys on the bench. Josh Pearson's hitting 267. He's starting to heat up. He's starting to play more.
Hell of a play off the wall.
Great play.
Beautiful play.
That's that one that's good awareness, knowing where you are on the field, right? That's understanding the situation. Hey, this guy just hit a laser beam. I'm going to have an opportunity if I played off the wall right, I'm going to have an opportunity to throw him out. Nobody else on base, so you can let it go. And you don't have to worry about, I have to hit the cut, I have to airmail. Like, no, there's nobody on base. He's the only guy. Go out and get him. And he played it perfectly. That was a huge.
And put it on the
play.
cash too.
Put it on the money. On the money. I mean, our defense was great all week. You know, I feel all weekend. I feel like they defense has been great all year.
We didn't get a chance to, but I really wanted to bring up to him. I forgot about it again, but you know, it was so easy to pile on to him last year when there was the struggles and all of that going on. But Jordan Thompson continues to impress, continues to silence all the doubters, and continues to play great defense and great baseball, honestly.
No doubt. And honestly, he puts together really good at bats. Like last weekend, he had a couple balls hard to right center, double. He had the grand slam in the middle of the week. Like he's put together some really good at bats, and I think he's done everything you need him to do.
But that's what makes LSU so impressive is the blend of experience with the younger guys and the transfer portal, where they've accepted everybody from the portal, right? To where you can have a Tommy Tanks and they seem like they have their own thing going with like the celebrations and whatnot. And then you have guys that you can count on that probably thought from day one they were going to start for 3 years at LSU. And now you bring in, and you know, Jay changes some things to make it more competitive, but they're still bought in to play for LSU.
If you're wondering if they got their own thing going on, celebration-wise, I went to Traction Sunday afternoon to go watch 8-year-old baseball, right? I go watch a game. The game after, I'm there for the first inning still. Kid, it's coach pitch still at this time too. Kid hits the homer. He's coming around third base. He gets about halfway down the line. His team's around the dirt, around home plate. He yells at them, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." He touches home plate, crosses his arm, stares at him, and then does it. So if you're wondering if they're doing their own thing and creating their own thing, there you go right there.
They no doubt
8-year-old baseball.
You think they're watching LSU?
You think?
I mean, that's when you know baseball, like LSU baseball is where it needs to be when kids are starting. Because I mean, that's a week. I grew up doing that, right? I grew up watching LSU players and like wanting to be like them and doing that. Like we came through it. Like it's just that's what makes it fun.
Oh, dude,
that's what makes it. That's the rare part of LSU.
You could go back to my time watching you all play. Whatever I said, if I ever hit one home run, I hit one. Grand Slam, no big deal.
Wow.
Number 5 team in 5A, no big deal.
Wow.
Number 1 team in 5A.
Where'd you hit it? It's definitely poolside.
Tioga.
Definitely poolside.
Poolside. Left center. Left
Definitely
center. Touched it hammered drunk after prom. But I was like, Coach, if I ever touch one, give me the handoff. And I came around the bag and I hit him with the handoff and he did it to me. I was like, beautiful. I got that from y'all.
I love
and
that.
so that's how
handoff was sick.
It was sick. And I was like, so if I ever get one, he's like, you'll never get one. And I was like, but if I do, better be ready to hand that thing off to me. And he was ready. So
I love that.
That's what I'm saying. That's how it travels from 8-year-old to 17-year-old.
And now look, you got to realize too, like it's still super early in the sense of like school's not out yet.
Right.
That's when things really kind of kick up here and when people really kind of get bought into it. So for, kind of have that wave kind of going this early already is a good sign.
Yeah, and they're not quite through. Like, so there are 56 games in the regular season, LSU. I mean, college baseball. They've played 24. So they're not quite yet at the halfway point. So these numbers can balloon. But I want to go through them because we talked a little about the lineup, talked about how good the lineup has been. I want to talk about what I think, right? Now, things can happen. Like, you go on some slumps and you get cold for a little bit. I was talking with Doug Thompson last night. Me and him were hanging out for a little bit. We live next to each other, and we're having conversation on, like, this team, what we're seeing, how do they compare to other teams and other players, and, so forth, and so on.
And so on.
There you go.
There we go. So forth and so on. So we're talking about Dylan Cruz. I made the bold prediction where I said he's hitting .531 right now, right? He's got 81 at-bats. I would imagine he gets to about 100 before the postseason. In the regular season, he gets to about 190 to 200 bats, depending on how many walks he has. I had 196 my junior year. We only played 56 games. So he's hitting .531. I told Doug, I said, if I believe this, and this could be me just being a prisoner of the moment. If Dylan Cruz gets out of this weekend hitting between .520 and .530 like he is, I think he hits 500 for the year, which is a bold statement. Very bold
prediction.
But
what's the highest batting average of all time?
I think it's Ricky Weeks.
College.
Huh? Ricky Weeks at 500 at Southern.
Yeah.
It's a totally different ball game, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
I'm still impressed if you go over 500 for the year.
And look, 500's a bold thing, right? Is he going to hit 500?
And look, a lot of things got to go right for you to do this.
No doubt.
Look, Dylan is an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
I believe the best player I've ever seen in purple and gold, right? But there was a hit he had this weekend on Saturday where the infield shifted him as a pull side hitter, and he hits a ball that's probably a step and a half to where a shortstop would usually be playing at, I don't know, 85 to 90 miles an hour off the bat, right? Like, it wasn't dribbled, but it was hard enough to get through. And I'm like, when you're hitting 500, these are the things
No
that
doubt.
happen.
And he had the ball over you had the infield single, the first game, the ball over the bag, and then the homer, right? So, yeah, a couple of those things are going to
very
happen.
aware of the homers.
Huh?
Said very aware of the homers.
You are very aware of the homers. He tried to get you on Saturday. I thought he was going to hit 2 on the second game on Saturday, but he's putting himself, the way he's not chasing and the way he's not getting himself out, because he doesn't have to, right? You have Tommy White and you have the guys behind you in the lineup that like, hey, you know what? If you're going to walk me, that's fine. The guy behind me is going to get 100 RBIs, right? Like that's and the fact that he's doing that is going to bring the amount of plate appearance or at bats down, right? And so I think that his hits are going to elevate and it's going to allow him to have a better chance. Now, does he have 500? Definitely he's going to hit 400.
So I'm going to tell you this. I really do think he's going to hit 450 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know if 500 is lofty, right, for me.
Right.
But it's so funny too because I don't think people understand the effect that it has when he's doing what he's doing right now. So like guys don't understand that like as a pitcher on the mound, these guys love to look at their velo. Where's the velo placed? On the scoreboard. You know what else is on the scoreboard when he's up to bat?
His stats.
His numbers. So when they give this little peek up to the scoreboard to see their velo, they also can see the 520 and all these gaudy-ass numbers, right? Which makes them get back on the mound and either try to do too much or try to be too perfect, and that's when you miss too big or you miss right down the middle again. And he starts hammering balls. So it has an effect on them just as much as it has an effect on, like, the rest of the lineup and how things go. Like, he's getting either big misses from pitches or he's getting pitches over the plate because guys really feel like they got to go extra and be somebody and do something extra to get him out. And
No
that
doubt.
never works,
No
you know?
doubt. No doubt. And, I mean, listen, I can't talk enough about him, about how impressed I've been with him. And there's been a lot of really good players that come through LSU. You go look at Todd Walker. Todd Walker's career batting average at LSU is .393. His numbers retired in the stadium. Like, he played 12 years in the big leagues. That guy was an absolute
Consummate
stud.
pro.
Yeah.
Right? Now, defensively, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good, but he wasn't like, oh, he's going to blow your socks off, right? I think all around, when it's all said and done, all-around player, Dylan Cruz is going to be the best to come through here, right? When it's all said and done, Dylan Cruz already has 49 home runs. He went 18, 22. Let's just say he hits 20. It's
He's
going
seventh
between.
all-time
Let's
right now.
just say he hits 11 more.
Yeah, so it just says 11 more homers. That
60
means he's
plus.
got 60 home runs. He's not going to get the record for most home runs in a career, right? That's Brad Kress. That's Eddie Furnace.
Yeah.
That's going to happen, right? But he may break the record in runs scored. I mean, he's got right now he's scored 46 runs already. It's not even halfway through the year, right? So when it's all said and done, I think he's going to put together the best cumulative
all around
career, right? And I just think that's just the way. And that's not taking anything. Listen, I feel like I had a really good career here. Jared had a really good career here. Todd Walker had a really good career. Brad Cressy, all these guys, Mike Font, all these guys that were really good had these really good seasons or really good careers. This guy's different, man. He really is. And in that same breath, Paul Skeens.
But before you move off of what Dylan Cruz has done, I feel like his approach at the plate and his ability to not have to feel like he needs to hit a home run every at bat.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. His ability to understand situation and I don't have to hit a homer. He hits line drives through the infield that you're not going to touch him.
we'll just say it this way. If he literally went out and had the exact same year that he had last year,
still the first.
I still think he'd be 1-1. And I still think nobody would not look at him different. He was tasked with, one, finding a way to get better, being a better leader. I don't think anyone saw it to a tune of what he's doing right now, which is blowing everyone's mind even more. It's unbelievable the year he's been having so far.
I could never expect it. You can't expect him to hit 500. You know what I mean? But like he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
It's
it's not
crazy
soft.
he got better.
Yeah, and it's not a soft 500. Like it's
like,
just loud.
Like not just better. largely better.
Yeah, he's running away with the number one overall pick.
Overplaying whatever you thought was going
Let
on.
me rephrase that.
Somebody else on LSU.
Exactly. I think the most competition he has for that number one pick in the draft is Paul Skeens. Right? I think it's either going to be Skeens or Cruz. They're both on the same team, which is awesome. Right? And it's all dependent upon what the Pirates want to do. And here's my take on it. Here's what I think. I'm not a GM. I'm not in their office. I'm not whatever. Right? Pirates have stunk for a very long time.
They have no interest in winning.
Right? So we talked about this before the game on Saturday, the first game.
Great Saturday.
The Pirates have Hayes at third base.
Yeah. O'Neal Cruz
at shortstop.
Yeah.
Brian Anderson. Is it Brian Anderson? Yeah, Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds. Brian Anderson plays for the Marlins. Brian Reynolds in center field, who came from Vandy, first round pick, I think. All-star, very good. Has been on the trade block the last couple years because they stink and they try to get assets. Now there's rumors that they're talking about revisiting a contract extension for him, right? So you have those three pieces, plus you have a couple more guys that they've picked up that they like, that they believe in, that are young offensive pieces. If they believe those guys, if they can sign Reynolds and they believe those guys are the guys that they're going to win with and they can grow their team with, I can see them going Paul Skeens to get you a bona fide number one starter from a year in, right? Now, if they get rid of Reynolds and they end up trading him at the break and they get all these things for him, I think they can go Dylan Cruz and say, I'm going to put you in center field in a year.
So I think, and it's a weird thing, I think it's a higher chance, obviously, if they are not able to sign an extension that come the trade deadline, that they move Reynolds and that opens the door for Dylan.
And it's crazy that we're saying this because it's baseball. It's not normally like this. Mm-hmm. That's how ready he is.
Right. It opens the door for Dylan, but also on the other side of it, and I'm not choosing on either one of them, right? You just need to understand like how the whole draft thing goes. I don't think it's been out there enough as it. I personally am putting this out there because I think it needs to be put out there. The Steven Strasburg conversation that needs to start becoming
I think he's better than Strasburg was coming out.
I'm just prospect-wise, the whole year you knew that Strasburg was 1-1. You knew the type of pitcher he was.
Can't
miss. You're seeing that, in my opinion, and probably more.
Yeah.
Because of the competition he's playing against out of Paul Skeens right now.
I agree.
Right? And I know, this team, this LSU team is different. And
Strasburg was 09, right?
Yeah. Strasburg and the Harper.
They played Virginia in the Supers. And that's why we played
San
Virginia.
Diego State.
So, yeah. So, in my mind, you got to understand that when you think of like LSU right now on a Friday night, what it took and what it will take to beat LSU every Friday night, that's what teams want in the big leagues.
Yep.
Right? And so I see a very high possibility if Skeens continues to throw this way, which I don't see the reasons as to why things would change, how he can be strictly off of that because he is a bona fide number one guy who I think will be in the big leagues by summer next year. And I'm only really saying that honestly because I don't think he'll fall far enough to where there will be
they need him in the playoffs this year.
A team that's got a playoff shot, that's overperformed and got a playoff shot with a high pick, that they'll need him in the playoffs or the stretch run. So I think he's going to end up going to a team that's not very good this year, and they're not going to be in it, right? So if you got a guy that's like that, I can see how it's that guy over the top bat or a top position player.
I was asked this yesterday. Right now, in your opinion, what is Paul Skeens in the big leagues right now? Right? Is he a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th bullpen guy like right now?
Now?
If you could put him in the big leagues right now, I'm
gonna tell you,
and I could be very prisoner of the moment. This is very biased. Go ahead. You tell me. I know what I'm gonna say.
I'll give you my opinion. I think he's easily a 3 starter.
Right now. Like, he could
Right
be
now,
in the
like
right now as
his
a
next
three-star.
start is in the big
Exactly
leagues.
what
I think
said.
he's a 3-starter, and I'm really going off of he just doesn't have experience up there.
Right.
He doesn't know
Exactly.
how to play at that level yet. There's things he still needs to learn. As crazy as that sounds, it is what it is. I think he's a 3 because of the stuff, because of his ability to throw strikes, because of his demeanor, because he takes the ball every 6th day right now, 7th day right now.
Every 7th.
Right? Because of those things, his ability to stay healthy and those other things I just said, with that kind of stuff, without the experience, he's a 3 right now.
And
that is unbelievably high speak of someone
right now,
who does
Kyle.
not have he hasn't thrown a single pitch in
So-
pro ball.
If you put it in offensive terms, it's like say plugging somebody into 4-hole, 3-hole, right?
No, it's not. I don't mean it like, but it's
that's
not.
someone that's
right?
like probably like 6, 7, 8 in the lineup.
Yeah.
Like that's just someone in starting lineup as
Yeah.
a hitter. Because like a 3 is really good, elite, but like you're like the middle of the rotation.
It's like bringing up Vlad Jr. and putting him in the 5 or 6 hole.
yeah.
Be hard to plug him right into the 3, but putting him in the 5 or 6 hole is like I expect you to be
I'm
productive.
saying you're going to be a part of the lineup. Like,
No,
yeah.
but I expect you to be productive. Like we're not just putting you in here to kind of get you in there.
Get a feel.
No. Like be productive. Do you?
Yeah, and it's obvious. So his top side is number 1, right? You wouldn't draft a guy 1 overall if he doesn't have number 1 ace stuff. And this is why I believe, outside of him throwing 102, I mean his first inning this past weekend was 100 to 102. Didn't throw one fastball under 100. Only pitch he threw in that first inning out of the 9 pitches was a 92-mile changeup. Right, that was the only pitch under 100. And the reason why I believe that he is a 3-starter now, going to be a 1-starter within 1 or 2 years of him being in the big leagues. He's got 5 pitches that he can throw. And they're not 5 different pitches. There are 3 pitches, and 2 of them have different varieties that he can throw. He's got the 4-seamer at 100. He can throw the front hip 2-seamer at 94 to 96 on these lefties, right? He can throw, he has a hard slider. He flips over a curveball. And he's got a nasty 92-mile-an-hour changeup that he can throw for strikes whenever he wants, however he wants, and to whoever he wants.
In your
to
mind,
me, that's a number 1.
in your mind, what would, if you're being nitpicky right now, what would make him better? What would make him quote unquote unhittable? I get it. He's got a opponent batting average under right over 100. But what would make him unhittable in your mind right now?
I mean, he's pretty much unhittable right now, but I mean, consistently being able to locate his off-speed stuff, like spot it up, right? Not just throw it for strikes. But like, hey, I'm going to throw this. Okay, now I see your swing on the fastball. Now, that's not just him because he's not calling his own pitches. But, okay, I'm going to spot this up, and then I'm going to get you to chase a little bit more off because, I'm just that good.
Yeah. I think the only thing that would make him literally unhittable, and this is to lefties and righties, would be the ability and the willingness to throw that changeup in and down under the zone whenever the hell he wants.
Right.
To lefties and righties.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I get it, bro. Like, you throw super hard. You're very accurate with it. You're a strike thrower. You have a lot of control with it, too, right? And like you said, he threw, one changeup in that first inning. But imagine if he went in there and he threw 3 or 4 of those, and he's literally doing what he – how do you, as a hitter, what do you do with that?
And then think about later on in the game, right? He gave up the run. And he started seeing these guys are trying to get early on his heater. What did he start doing? He started spinning breaking balls for strikes, right? He started mixing up the way he was attacking these guys, and then at that point the fastball is already going to blow by you, and it's
imagine if I knew, like, if he's on with the heater and he's on with the slider and he's on with the curveball, but imagine if I knew, like, hey, if I want to get him, I got to get him early, and I'm selling out for fastball, and I see something straight, and all of a sudden it's 92. And it's a changeup, and it's an 0-0 pitch, and there's nobody on. How do I hit with that now? Because now when he's throwing straight, it's not just a fastball. He can do this whenever he wants, and he's flipping these. 2 different ones at that. That's, to me, if he would do that, unhittable. Absolutely unhittable.
Yeah. And you saw some of the guys get to go on Friday, whenever the ball was in the mitt and they're swinging, they're like, oh, but sitting a different pitch. And if he wants to rear back and throw a fastball, and you're not looking at it, you have 0% chance.
There was one righty he had on Friday night where I think it was right after the run that he gave up, and then we get to 2 outs and it's a righty up, and because of the run, all of this, he flipped them all breaking balls, and I think he got to either 3-2 or 2-2, and he flipped honestly the worst breaking ball he threw in the whole at bat. It was literally in the middle of the left-handed batter's box, and the guy swung as if it was a fastball right down the middle. Like, there was no reaching, no anything. Like, that's how much he has guys guessing up there.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And we have one question from the chat, just real quick before we get to Joey Schwartz, who it sounds like has entered the building. From Ultra Maga, make of that what you will. How much of the pitching development is of Wes Johnson, and how much is it talent when it comes to Paul Skeens?
Both.
I'm going to say it's unfair to God. What's our pitching coach from last year? Head coach in Washington now.
He's in the promo.
He is in the promo.
It's not anyway.
Coach Edwards.
Yeah,
Kelly.
Yes, Coach Kelly.
Coach Kelly.
So I'm gonna say it's a little unfair to him, right? Because the staff that's here is supremely talented. A couple steps up from where it was last year as a whole, right? Unfair to him, but Wes is showing what he does.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's the deal: like every year in his career in college, Skeens has gotten better and better and better. Like when we got him at transfer, he wasn't throwing 100. You know what I mean? Like that's part of his development. And you just got paired up with one of the best pitching coaches out there, and now it's a perfect match. And you can see that how the pitching staff is performing and how they're playing, how Garrett Edwards is playing, how Ty Floyd is. I mean, what Ty Floyd did in that first game hasn't been talked about enough. Like going out throwing 35 pitches after losing, giving up a 2-run homer, getting out of it, and then going and pitching into the 7th. Like that's impressive.
Yep.
Right? Like that's hard to do. That's, Jay preaches a lot about mental toughness and about working on the mental part of the game. And you can see a lot of these kids and a lot of these guys taking that to heart and really getting to the next level, because that's where you really make your money, is like, how do I control my mind on the field? And they do a really good job of that. Before we get to the break, or before Joe gets here, I want to mention this one thing. The school record for strikeouts at LSU is 202. And that was by Ben McDonald. He threw 170 innings. Right?
Thank you, Skip.
Paul Skeens, if he goes to the end, let's say he just goes all the way to, if he goes to, in this pace that he's on right now, actually better yet, that year, Ben McDonald averaged, I think 13.6 strikeouts per 9. What do you think Paul Skeens is averaging per 9 innings right now, strikeout-wise?
Probably 13.
Yeah.
17.8 per 9. Because you remember, his 12 and 13 strikeout games are in 6 innings.
7 innings, yeah.
17 right now. So he's on this pace. He's going to break the record. He's going to get 210 before you even get to the Omaha, right? Now, the national record is 230, set by somebody in 1971. I think that's in play.
What happened with Ben after he set that record that year? Where did he go in the draft?
1 overall.
Okay, just saying. It's
1 overall.
Won the Golden Spikes.
Won the Golden Spikes.
Those things matter.
So that's just for reference.
Hey, listen, if that happens and Dylan continues to have this year, who do you give the Golden Spikes to? Like, how does that?
Golden Spikes.
That's unbelievable.
There's 2 shoes.
That's unbelievable.
Crazy. All right, we're going to take a 30-second. Well, actually, before we take a 30-second break, let's give a shout out to all of our sponsors. Not all of them. One of them. We gave EFCO one in the commercial. Our friends at Heineken. We've talked about Heineken a lot. We drank them at our tailgate this past weekend. We're going to be drinking them at our tailgate on Thursday.
Lloyd gives them a drink every Friday.
Lloyd gets them a drink every Friday. Lloyd is chugging some beers. Now, unfortunately, they're not selling Heineken Silver in the concourse.
I thought about this.
I know, but they're not in the concourse.
I'm going to sneak one in.
Okay, there we go. We're gonna make sure that we do that. They're part of our Booze Cruise push. And Heineken's light beer. It's 95 calories. It's very good, very crisp. Make sure you put it in the ice chest, because Lloyd says it's better if it's not warm.
Better cold.
I think every beer is better cold. They've been partners of ours. They've been sponsors of ours. We appreciate their partnership, and we appreciate them giving us all those Heineken Silver, because we've been drinking it. As you can see, 1 box is done, 2 boxes done. Those boxes are starting to get done. Like, they're getting drank, and they're pretty good. So if you haven't tried it, go try it.
And we got to give one away.
And we're going to give one away. We're going to give that at the end of the show. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're going to take a 30-second break. You're watching Mik'd Up. before we go into our break, I want to give a shout out to, like I said, we talk about us getting new partners, new sponsorships all the time. We have a new sponsor, and you've probably seen them on the top left corner in the little spinner logo. FCO Solutions. Our friends on at FCO, they're out of Lafayette. They're a civil construction company. They specialize in new multi-family construction, right? If you don't know what civil construction is, it's okay. Probably a lot of people don't understand it. They basically get the land ready to be built vertically, right? I'm giving you a little bit of a construction lesson here. I don't know much about it. I've learned it on the go, right? They specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthworks, site cleaning, house pads, ponds, demo work, and hurricane cleanup. So they do anything that involves dirt, basically, or the earth. And a lot of that gets done before, it has to be done before you are building whatever development you are trying to build. So our friends at EFCO have been fans of the show. They are really, really good people. They're down there in Lafayette. If you know anybody from Lafayette, you do know me. Mitch is from New Iberia. I'll consider that Lafayette's 337 area code.
There you go.
337 area code. They are unbelievable people. They do a very, very, very good job, and they are committed to growing and being the best at what they do. So I just want to give a shout out to our friends at EFCO. I know that they listen. Appreciate you guys. We are going to be great partnerships. Maybe you can have. Are you gonna have a Heineken Silver for the game? Maybe.
I kind of want one now.
You gonna shotgun another one?
You want another? I don't know if you should shotgun because we saw how that went last time.
I don't know. I feel like you got to redeem yourself.
You can have a drink. I don't think you should shotgun it.
The way it went,
I'll enjoy this one.
I think you should chug it, but maybe not shotgun it.
The way it went last time, it's
I could do. I can do anything. I know. All right, fuck it.
All right, go ahead. Go for it. There.
Oh, that was much better.
1, 2.
Open it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
9.
Okay. It's
10,
now it's starting to drip.
11,
now you're struggling a little bit.
12.
It's pretty good.
13.
13
Not bad.
I'll give
Not
you a 12 and a half seconds there. How was it? Was it good?
Delicious. You can't do that
with a regular one.
With a regular one.
Right.
You can only do that with the silver.
With the silver. Why? Because the silver's lighter. It's got 95 calories. It's pretty crisp. That wasn't even cold. I know you don't necessarily need a cold beer. That was room temp.
That's
I respect how quickly you turned around and gave me a full sentence. That was quick.
Oh, yeah. No Officer, I'm fine.
You've been around
a straight
before.
line, kid.
Yeah. You've been around before, but
it's just breakfast.
It's a very good beer.
It's
a very light beer. It's something that you can...
Easy to drink.
Easy to drink.
Easy to pour.
Yeah. But it's something that, I think it should be in the rotation at tailgates, especially with LSU baseball coming up. We'll get into some of the LSU baseball conversation. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are joined now by Joe Schwartz. Congratulations, dude. Final Four. We talked about it. We put it out in the universe. Y'all made it happen. You didn't really do anything, but the team did it. You were a hype man. I'll say that with loving friendship, not saying anything, but the girls went out and did it. I mean, they went out and did it, and they played really well. They silenced a bunch of doubters. Yeah. And they put themselves in a position where I'd imagine that they anticipated them being. How was the? I know I got a little delay. Yeah. But how was the vibes in the locker room and the plane coming home?
It was awesome. For me to be able to experience that, for Coach G to be able to experience it, and for Shantae, the three of us who have never really been on a postseason run. G had never been to the tournament before this year. I had only won one tournament game before this year, and Shantae didn't get to go to the tournament when she was with SEMO a couple years ago because of COVID. So it was special for us, and then for the girls, I think just the excitement. Something you talk about all season long is your postseason, and that's where you want to go, and you want to peak in March. And there's a lot of teams that can throw that around, but at the end of the day, only 4 are going to make it to the Final Four. And you start with 68 teams in the tournament, and you have that crazy big bracket. But as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, you have to break it into the 2 games at a time, really 1 game at a time. And then if you can win that first one, you get the second one, and you get a week to prepare for those next 2. And I think our kids' attention to detail and their ability to focus on the task at hand, whether things were going really well or really bad. I mean, Angel Reese started the game 0 of 9 last night from the field. Like, who would have thought we'd be going to a Final Four when Angel Reese starts the game 0 of 9?
Right.
Much less in a ball game. But I think that's a testament to our defense, our toughness, and our ability to persevere through adversity. And we've done that all year. I mean, hell, at the end of the day, we have 2 losses. And I kind of hinted at it a few minutes ago on Twitter that this is a show that people are going to want to tune into, and we can get into that a little bit later. So, well, I got to speak my mind in a little bit.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
This is what the forum's for. Go for it.
Well, you bring up the defense. Like, not many shots fell early, right?
Not at all.
At one point in either the third or the fourth quarter, I'm sure you probably didn't even see it. Kim's doing like a sideline interview.
Yeah.
And she straight up said, if I was at home, I wouldn't be watching this game right now. But with that being said, the unbelievable level of defense they played in this game to keep themselves in the game when shots are not falling. How proud are y'all of that?
Very proud. And there's a lot of different reasons that we could blame shots for not falling, turnovers on both sides, just sloppy basketball. But I think this goes back to before the game. And I guess I can share it with y'all now because
hell yeah.
It was on The Athletic. They ended up putting the article out about 4 a.m. last night.
Because y'all are getting a lot of heat.
Yeah, a lot of heat.
This.
But Coach Starkey, he's taken 5 LSU teams to Final Fours. He's been on staff for 5 Final Fours for LSU women's basketball. So he's been in Coach's ear a lot. And Coach has been – this is her 5th Final Four as a head coach. And before the game, so the coaches have our own locker room, and then the players obviously have theirs, and they're across the hall. And we were watching the Texas game. Mulkey was talking to us. We were eating our popcorn, M&Ms, candy, Sour Patch, all that. We like to relax before the game. And so Coach Bob was pacing up and down the hallway, which is pretty normal before games. And Coach Mulkey kind of looked at the staff and was like, guys, I'm going to go in a little bit earlier. Normally she goes in about 7-8 minutes on the clock. She goes, I'm going to go in about 9 or 10 minutes, give my pregame, whatever, go over the matchups, all that stuff. And she goes, but Bob wanted me to kind of pause in the middle of it so he could come in and talk to the girls as well. And so it's kind of been a tradition for me this season and really last season too. I don't know if it's superstition or what, but Jordan and I normally don't go into the locker room right before the game starts. We kind of wait out in the hall. I never have. I know what Coach is going to say. I can hear what she's saying, but that's her time to motivate the girls, and the assistant coaches can be in there. But it's just something that I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't go in there. And so Coach Bob, before the game, interrupts Coach while she's giving her pregame, and he walks around the locker room with a Sharpie. And
Kim knew he was going to do this?
Kim knew he was going to do it. He asked her permission, and he said to the girls, girls, tonight when things get difficult, when we have adversity, he said, we're all going to have a reminder of what we're playing for. He said, I want each of y'all to look down at your hand and show me which finger y'all want the ring on. And so Coach Starkey went around with the Sharpie and drew a ring on everyone's finger. I still have mine a little bit. He said, which finger do you want the ring on for the Final Four? Because tonight, when things get tough, if a call doesn't go your way, if a shot doesn't go in, if we turn the ball over, look down, and that's what you're playing for. And so I thought that was really cool last night, because even as a staff, we're in timeouts, and Coach G and I are looking down and keep pointing at our finger because I've never won a ring before.
Yeah.
G's never won a ring. But we're playing the girls are playing for coaches, and I'm on a staff with coaches who have closets full of rings. So I thought that was pretty special. And there were a lot of times, and it sounds weird, but we looked out on the court, and the girls are huddling up, and we're about to shoot a free throw, and they're looking down at that finger like, hey, we're playing for a ring. And I think to see the girls celebrate at the end, and obviously the season's not over yet, but we've all talked about this free smoke tour. We've all talked about our strength of schedule, but who cares? We're still playing. there's 4 teams that are going to be playing after tonight. And coaches can say what they want about our strength of schedule. Clearly, Kim Mulkey did something right when she was putting our schedule together.
Final 4 teams.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want, but we talked about it as the tournament started. It is put up or shut up time in the tournament. You win, you go home, or you lose, you go home. You win, you move on, right? And y'all have done what y'all needed to do. Y'all have moved on. Nobody can say, "Oh, you haven't played anybody good." You're in the tournament. You're playing who they said that you needed to play.
Yeah.
And you're moving on, right? And that's, you talked about the ring thing, right? A lot of people were giving, them shit about that. Oh, it's, why would you do that? You haven't won anything. You got to the Final Four. But
celebrating early.
And this is just me talking from an athlete's perspective. Is there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, in locker rooms that bring teams together. Like every team has their thing, right? Like we had our stuff here at LSU. Every team that I've been on, we've done something. LSU now, when they hit homers, they do this.
Usually,
right?
when you look back on it too, like 10 years later, you're like, damn, that was like pretty corny or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it means something to you.
At the time, like everybody bought into it, and like that's something to rally around, right? And was y'all's thing, right? Like, hey, this is what we talked about. But nobody that's not privy to that conversation in the locker room understand that. So it's easy now with social media and all the coverage to see something and automatically make your judgment and your assumption on something without knowing the facts. So I'm glad that story came out.
Very
glad that someone they're able to like say this is why we did it.
Go ahead. Because like I'll draw a line. He knows about it, obviously. Like I flip on an LSU baseball game and I watch him play now, and they're obviously the big advertisement with the broadcast is the Tony Sacheries, right?
Yeah.
Bro, when we played here, and nobody knows about it because social media wasn't really a thing. We taped up a Tony Sacheries bottle with tape, and we wrote championship seasoning on it. Yeah. And dudes would pull their bats out of the bat rack and pour Tony Sacheries on the bat and go hit.
Yeah.
Imagine people be like, what the hell are they doing? But like that's what it was. So like as whatever you want to call it, it means something to you, and you kind of stick with stuff like that, and it keeps you young, it keeps you fun, it keeps you loose, and it keeps you playing for a reason.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind closed doors, whether it's between a staff, whether it's between players, that may not be good. And the fact that you've got a coach leading this charge, going to press conferences, taking all the heat, but able to defend her players and seeing her former players come out and support her, I think it just goes to show we've got the right woman running this show here. And I think the support we have from a community, from the school, from a state, it's so special to see. And it brings me back to the outside doesn't know what goes on the inside. And so, for instance, last night, we had a couple girls after the game with a Sharpie drawn on their ring finger. So, of course, SportsCenter, ESPN, they're like, oh, LSU celebrating too early. They're putting rings on their finger. Well, they don't know the backstory behind it. You sweat during a game, so most of their Sharpies probably washed off. I've washed my hands a couple of times, so I can barely see the ring on mine. But the athletic and good reporters in the press conference ask the right questions instead of just jumping to conclusions and assuming, oh, LSU's just celebrating. They don't know the backstory.
Right.
They don't know that Coach Starkey did that at A&M before they played for an SEC championship. So my thing is, do some freaking research.
Right.
There's a reason our strength of schedule wasn't great. We had 4 kids basically that we knew were going to be in our rotation before the transfer portal, before the signing class was complete. We didn't know what the hell we were getting ourselves into. So call our schedule a cupcake, but hell, we're playing for a Final Four now.
Right.
Like, say what you want. Oh, and by the way, first thing that came to my mind last night when we climbed that ladder were the boys. So, for y'all.
Look at that!
Let's go.
Oh, for the show?
For the show.
Let's go right here.
That is going to be forever.
Let's go. Appreciate
for
that.
Mic'd up, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Climbed that ladder last night.
I think we need to put it in like a little frame or something.
A little box. Hopefully we can cut down one more.
That's what I was about to say. If we get one more.
But for now, I remember I was like, last week we were talking. I was like, if we can win 2 more, I don't care what time we get back. I'll be here Monday, and we'll be talking. So maybe next week at this time.
That's it.
Well, the thing is, we gotta not speak the maybes, right? We've always spoken. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
So we'll see you next week.
I want to talk about this though, because I didn't get to talk to you before after the Sweet 16, right? Before the Elite 8 game. A big reason why y'all were there is some of the role players on the team stepped up and had the biggest games of their career. LaDasia Williams had 25 points.
25, yeah, somewhere like that.
When Angel Reese fouled out, right? She wasn't her normal self. I mean, she put up some numbers, but she had foul trouble all game, and she was out the game. And LaDasia Williams took over the game, and scored 24. How important have because I mean, y'all had there's been 2 or 3 of the girls that have come out that said, you know what, I've been pushed into this role. Yeah. I've got to perform, and I've got to pick up the girls that aren't playing to where they're used to playing. How important has that been?
Well, I think you look back at any team that's ever won a championship. There's not 5 superstars on every team.
Right.
You've got 1 or 2 superstars, and then you've got all your great role players. You look at some of those great Spurs teams back in the day. You had Tim Duncan, David Robinson, but then you throw in like a Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, people like that.
Where's DL?
1 ACL.
Yeah. I guess he was. He was with the Suns, the Spurs. He played for like 10 different.
That's what I'm saying. He's a championship player.
Yeah, the ultimate role player. But I look at our team. Yeah, you've got a superstar, an Angel. It's 32 double doubles. That's unfreaking real. Like that just goes to show, regardless of how things are going, she's going to show up every night, whether it's pretty, ugly. She's going to go out and do her job. But it's the people around her. Last year, Poa, who has taken some pretty big charges in this postseason run. Kateri Poole, who's been put into the starting lineup.
Knocked down some threes.
Knocked down some big threes. I mean, she's shooting it. She's got the highest three-point percentage, I think, on the team right now. And a lot of that's come in the last 3-4 weeks of the season. Yeah. Jazz hasn't been shooting it well as of late, but she's been playing better defense. And then you've got someone like LaDasia, who's a senior. You've got Alexis Morris, who's a senior, and she's been struggling on all cylinders to click, but look at the last 4 minutes of the game against Utah. Look at last night against Miami. She steps up when she needs to. So I think there's so much to be said about the seniors on the team. And it's one thing that Coach has talked about all year long is you don't realize what you've got until it's gone. And the last time you take off that jersey, whether it's high school, whether it's college, whether you're fortunate enough to play as a pro, but college are the best years of your life. And Alexis Morris said it a few years ago. She said, this isn't over yet. My senior night is going to be in Dallas, Texas. And for her to back that up, and now we're getting on a plane tomorrow to go to Dallas, Texas, yeah, we want to go win 2 more games. But the fact that as a senior, you get up on a microphone and manifest it and say, hey, this isn't over yet. Yeah, we lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament. Screw that. That was Tennessee's not playing anymore.
Right.
We're going to Dallas. And Alexis Morris, I cannot say enough great things about her. Just a small kid from Beaumont, private school kid.
Bounced around,
dealt with adversity. And I don't know if y'all can link the press conference from last night. I'll find it. But I want everyone to go back and listen to what Angel Reese and Alexis Morris had to say. Not only about the game, but about the build-up, about the season, because you're talking about 2 kids there who have been through more adversity than most college kids, period. And to see their maturity and their growth from really the past 2 months, I mean, shit kind of hit the fan a few weeks ago when we lost to Tennessee. We weren't really sure what was going to happen after we lost to Tennessee. The committee thought we deserved a 3 seed for whatever reason because we lost to the number 1 team in the country and we lost to the team that was picked to finish second in the league after we had a 17-point lead on them and they got hot in the second half. But hey, give us a 3 seed. I told y'all, give us whatever seed you want. Kim Mulkey's 58-8. We're in year 2 and we're going to the Final Four.
Pretty good.
If you're like late, like tuning in to watch them play, you touched on her just now. You would think that like Alexis's like story is literally just all glitz and glamour. You don't realize the struggle she went through, the bouncing around she's going through, the being put off the team basically she's going through, the basically
quit basketball,
walking back in the door and saying, I'm doing this even at a different school.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine like Kim watching her and having nothing but trust in her at this point, right? That's got to be one of her like great things that she probably talks about. I would imagine somebody that she probably really adores, right?
Yeah. I mean, Is she a pain sometimes? 100%. Coach Mulkey, her nickname for Lex is Little Shit. And she is. But that's why we love her so much. I mean, for the postseason, I have been really going into the SEC tournament, I had been assigned to pick her up at her apartment and make sure she gets to the bus early so she doesn't get left, because she is always the last one on the bus. And a few days ago, we're leaving for...
Not late, the last one. Not
last
late.
one.
You'd be late.
We're leaving. we're about to leave for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Jake's in the car with me. Brother's in the car with me. And
Shout out Jake.
I call Lex. I'm like, hey, I'm headed to your dorm right now. She's like, oh, I'm at Cane's right now. I'll be back in a second. I'm like, the bus is leaving in 10 minutes. We have a send-off with a couple hundred people. Like, there's no option. You need to be at your dorm. I got to pick you up. She goes, oh, well, the manager's already grabbed my stuff. I was like, all right, I'll be at your dorm in 4 minutes. Be outside. Well, I get there. She's getting out of an Uber, and the Uber driver's trying to sell her on some type of water that is flammable or something. I'm like, Lex, we got to go. Like, you got to get in the car. And she's like, no, but that's the thing about her is she's never going to turn someone down. That goes for her as a player, signing every autograph, taking a picture with everyone in the stands, an Uber driver, a little kid, because she knows that people look up to her. And love her to death. I mean, she's someone that I'm really going to miss. And we were hugging last night after the game, and it's on my Instagram. It's the video I posted. The game had just ended, buzzer had sounded, and out of nowhere, she just sprints into the picture and jumps on the scores table like Dwayne Wade. And she like looks down and she realizes, yeah, I'm not that tall. That's a pretty big leap down. So she kind of jumped down into my arms, and I was like, go celebrate. But she's earned every bit of it, and she's the type of kid that coaches said it all year long, and really since she got here last year. Alexis Morris has an incredible story, and she's the author of her own book, and this year is really the last chapter. And whatever happens in Dallas, yeah, we'd love to win a national championship and cut down nets, but to end her college career on the biggest stage, I think that's going to be real special for her.
And you could go back even to the Sweet 16 with her having to be the one on the free throw line, and I would imagine y'all being on the bench, there's like, I couldn't pick a better person to be up here right now.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, Alexis doesn't even have the highest free throw percentage on the team.
Yeah, but she's cold-blooded.
Exactly. Ice in her veins. And G and I looked at each other, I said, we're good. She ain't missing these. And she makes 4 free throws to send us to the Elite 8 against a damn good Utah team. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, Pac-12, they won the conference for a reason. They have the player of the year for a reason. That was a really, really good Utah team, and that game could have gone either way. Either way. It was a one-possession game. But like we talked about, those are the type of games that you have to win to advance in March.
No doubt. And we've talked about this before with Angel Reese. You know, obviously it's getting a little late. I don't want to keep you too long, but just a couple more questions. Mm-hmm. We talked about Angel. Angel's a very emotional player. Yeah. Right? Like, you can tell her up and down the court, things are happening. She wears her emotions on her sleeves. Mm-hmm. That's just the way she is. That's how she was. I respect that. That's how I played. I get it. Yeah. Whenever she gets off to a slow start and she struggles, right? What does Kim do to like bring her back down? Like, hey, settle down, calm down. Does she bring her to put her on the bench, tell her something? Does she have something that she does in the game to where she can calm herself down in those moments? Is she self-aware of it? Like, what are some of the things that she does to be able to bring herself back down to earth?
I think it's a combination of everything you just said. If it's real bad, Kim will look down the end of the bench and say, get her out of there. Let her come sit by us for a few minutes. Let her see the game and get back in the flow of it. Sometimes she picks up 1 or 2 fouls early, so she's got to come out. On the flip side, if she's in the game and she's missed some shots or she's settled, get your ass on the block. Let's run something for you. Let's get you a good look. And if you don't make it, get your own rebound or get to the foul line. And she got to the foul line early last night, missed a couple of free throws early, but we kept going back to her. That's what you've got to do. When you have a player as dominant as Angel is, good players keep shooting the ball. That's the only way to build confidence. You can't expect Angel to make every shot. And people want to talk about, oh, well, the only reason she gets all those offensive rebounds is because they're off her misses. Well, she's got a pretty good field goal percentage this year. She gets a lot of offensive rebounds, but she's also finished pretty good.
I don't care if it's her misses or not. She's still getting them.
She's still getting them.
One of them's still going in.
Yeah, somebody's got to get them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think Angel has grown and matured so much really over the past couple weeks, but she took it very personal going into the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 because she'd never been past the Sweet 16 at Maryland. And she made it a point, whether she scored 30 a game or 10 a game, we were going to get to a Final Four. And seeing that last night and her embrace Coach Mulkey and celebrate and get to cut down nets, I think that just shows the type of kid that Angel is. She plays with emotion, but she backs it up.
And there's been a lot made of her maybe going into the what they call the W now, the WNBA, in that I think she did a podcast where she said, look, what the opportunity we have here at LSU, I could almost make more money here. And so when it comes from a coaching perspective, it's something that you don't even have to put on your plate anymore whenever you hear her say something like that, come out so full force for LSU. We're like, yeah, I could go to the league, but we have an opportunity here where I could almost not only make more money, but continue to build on something that I feel like her legacy is almost statue-worthy now at this point if they're able to get not only this national championship, but bring her back. Yeah. And then you add the number one player in the country next year. There's something that you're building with, whether it be the coaching staff, Kim Mulkey, Bob, you, like that they want to be a part of. Yeah, and I think that you'll see a lot of kids this year that you may not expect to come back to college. And I think with NIL, with the transfer portal, I think it just goes to show that kids are finally embracing college athletics. For what it should be. Exactly. The best years. I think there was something, Tommy White was laughing about something, people saying, oh, these kids should go to the league out of high school. College sports, nothing beats it. College is the best time of your life. Y'all all three played it. Because people value you. If you're good enough, you're going to be able to go where you need to be. You're going to be where you need to be, no doubt. And if you're not, but you utilize your connections and you network while you're at a university like LSU or at Texas where I was, or use your social media as a positive, you're going to be able to get whatever job you want. No doubt. So use the connections you have in college. Stay here as long as you want. Get a free education, maybe an extra degree. Make some money now. Make some money. Build relationships and embrace every second of it. No doubt. Set yourself up for success. Y'all don't know who y'all are going to play yet, obviously. The game's going on right now. Yep. But 8 o'clock, I think. 8 o'clock. Yeah, a little bit. A few minutes. I'd imagine that it doesn't really matter because at this point it's about, hey, we're playing against ourselves, really. Like, hey, if we do what we need to do right, we feel like that we can beat everybody. What are those things that you need to do moving forward in this Final Four, in this moment, to be able to get to the national championship game and give yourself a chance to win? All of it is really going to start with focus. We've got to get back focused. Last night, we won a champion. That was the first championship this team has won, a regional championship to get to a Final Four. That is a very, very big accomplishment. It's something that every coach, every player dreams of. Can't win that championship unless you get to the Final Four. Exactly. So we celebrated last night. We had a late night. We were delayed almost 4 hours last night, sat on the runway in Greenville, dealt with 2 huge storm cells. We had 7 crying babies under the age of 4 on the flight that didn't take off till... Don't talk about your brother like that. till about 3:40ish Greenville time, so it was about 2:30, 2:45 Central Time. Ended up getting back here, but we flew with band, we flew with cheer, we flew with TAF, we flew with our team. So it took a while to unload the plane. We had 3 buses there. We had administrators on the flight, so we're not really leaving the airport till 4:30. Get home at 5 something, and then. What, you get home, you just expect to go to bed after that? Like, by that time, I was ready to get back up. I had so much adrenaline. I was so excited. But got a few hours of sleep. Girls had to go to class today. So, as much as you want to celebrate... Today's the day you want to go to class. No doubt. Oh, yeah, the North Carolina. Luke May. After he hit that buzzer beater. Yeah. Today is the day you want to be on campus. You build some brownie points with your professors, with your friends. Hey, I mean... What everybody wants to see. Exactly. So as tired as you are, I know the girls were in class today, but tomorrow we'll be back in the film room. We're going to practice in the morning.
We'll have film and scouting report on whoever wins the game tonight. And then we'll go for hour and a half, 2 hours tomorrow on the court. We'll have a send-off at 3 o'clock by the PMAC. Get on the plane, go to Dallas for another business trip. And I've never been to a Final Four. I've been to all 3 of Coach's national championships as a fan. But one thing I'm learning, there's a lot of people tugging at you when you get to the tournament, when you make it this far.
Judging your outfit.
Yeah, but that
outfits look nice.
We've got the outfits.
I can't wait. What do you got? What do you got?
Elite 8 was fire.
Yeah, what do you got in store for us this weekend?
We're good. We got some heat.
No hints.
Suits.
Oh, thanks.
We're going suits.
Okay. I'd imagine
business trip.
I'd imagine Final Four. You're gonna lay it all out in line right there.
Yeah, we've got some nice suits. Right. But even when we were in Greenville, there you've got parents, you've got fans. I mean, y'all know LSU fans better than anyone. I mean, our hotel lobby, the fans were shutting the bar down 1, 2 a.m. every night, and I mean, it's scary as all get out, but. After we won, it was after we beat Utah, right? I mean, someone was shot outside of our hotel. There was a fight going on the 6th floor at 2:30 in the morning. I mean, our staff group text is blowing up at 1:45 because there's 24 police cars in the street. They've got caution tape. There's blood all over the sidewalk. The valet driver at the hotel was like, yeah, we found 4 shells in the parking garage. Like, there's so many distractions, and that's not anything we could plan for, but those are other distractions. That's not talking about all the family that's there, all the friends that are there, all the people asking for tickets. Well, now we're going back to Texas where we've got kids on our team from Texas. We've got a lot of staff members that are from Texas or spent the majority of their lives in Texas. So there's a lot of distractions. So the biggest thing I think is going to refocus, figure out who we play, get a game plan, and then we won't even be able to get on the main floor until Thursday afternoon. Either Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, and then we play Friday. So we'll practice at home tomorrow. I think Wednesday there's a lot of media responsibilities. I think we might have the option to practice somewhere else. But, yeah, you're not getting on the main floor till Thursday. Right. There's a big dinner on Wednesday night for, I think, the Final 4 teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of outside distractions. And you really just want to – it's almost like you want your team to just be in a bubble and say, hey, focus on what we've got Friday night. But at the same time, you want them to experience it. And I can't really say I've been there before because I haven't. I've been to the Final Four, but I don't know all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. I know our itinerary is jam-packed, but there's a fine line between enjoying it and being focused for the task at hand. I think that was something that we embraced while we were in Greenville. I mean, 5 minutes before our send-off, Boosie called, FaceTimed our girls, and said, let's set it off tonight. I saw that. I mean, how often do you have rappers that are like, hey, let's show out tonight? So it's been real special, and I'm hoping we can drag this thing out.
So outside of, obviously, a couple coaches on the staff, this is a new height for pretty much everyone else involved with the team.
Yeah.
What new challenges do you guys expect to, I guess, come across or have to deal with either in-game or leading up to game in this situation?
I think we saw it last night a little bit against Miami. I think not that the moment was too big, but there's a lot of butterflies. You've got kids that haven't played on that stage before. You've got young kids, and you can't control whether a shot goes in or not. You can't really control some of the turnovers we had, but what you can control is your ability to focus on defense, lock in and guard someone, and your ability to play hard, play with effort and intensity, and rebound. Rebounding doesn't really take much talent. You got to be able to jump and grab the ball, but that's more of anything a want and a will to just go grab the ball. So control the things you can control, and the rest will take care of itself. I mean, Angel probably wishes she would have started the game 1 of 9 versus 0 of 9, but she kept shooting, kept finding ways to get her teammates involved. So I think once you get to Dallas and whoever we play, whether it's Ohio State, who presses a lot, we've got to take care of the ball. Whether it's Virginia Tech, who's high-powered offense, you got to guard them. But say what you want. I guess we had a cupcake schedule, so we haven't played anyone.
Right.
But whoever we do play, we're going to be prepared for them.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a good game plan, and
Ready to go.
We'll be ready to roll.
Man, I appreciate you coming in. As always, before I let you go, y'all send off is tomorrow at 3.
Yep.
Give a little bit of details to everybody listening. If anybody wants to show up, go to it. Obviously, this is also your promo, so we can cut it for you. I'm just post it for you.
So tomorrow, 3 o'clock, outside the PMAC on the South Pad, we'll have a big send-off. We'll have a stage set up. We'll have cheer and band there. Really for all the fans to get one last look at
Boozy will be there.
your Greenville regional champs headed to the Final Four in Dallas. We had a pretty good turnout at last week's send-off, and Coach put me on the spot, gave me the microphone, and as the first of 3 that on the staff that have never been to a Sweet 16, well, now we're the first, I think, of 3 that, 3 of us haven't ever been to a Final Four. So show up, show out for our girls. It means a lot to see the purple and gold travel, but it also means a lot for our girls to see the fans embrace not only what we do as a team, but what we've done for this school, what we do for the community, what we've done for the state. And I think it goes to show the other night at our Sweet 16 game, Coach Kelly, Coach McMahon, Scott, President Tate, I mean, your administrators, they're all in.
Yeah.
And it's really special to see the buy-in. I mean, heck, Jay Johnson probably wishes he could have been there. I know he sent Coach a nice text today congratulating him, but he's got business to take care of too. Big series coming up this weekend. But I've said it all year long. I've said it since last October. There's something special brewing in Baton Rouge, and the fact that we're able to be a small part of it, it really means a lot, and the fact that the community's embraced us means a lot. So one last time tomorrow, 3 o'clock send-off. The weather should clear up. I think the rain's supposed to get out of here mid-morning. Let's send us off in style. And then whoever can make it, Dallas isn't a far drive,
I know
quick
a lot of
flight.
people are going. I've talked to a lot of people that are going to be there.
It's going to be fun. It should be a lot of purple and gold there. Let's see what we can do this weekend.
Well, dude, I can't wait to watch y'all. Good luck. I appreciate you coming on as always. We'll see you next week. Talk about national championship.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Go Tigers.
All right, appreciate it.
A lot of futures out there.
A lot of futures. Before we go on a break, give your friend a little shout out. Before you go to break.
FCO.
That's your friend.
Tyler Leday.
That would be your friend.
You always do this to me when I don't have the document pulled up. I'm trying to keep the chat.
Well, I know.
activated.
I'm just saying we have
FCO Development,
There we
civil
go.
construction company that specializes in a new multifamily construction, which we might need if LSU continues on this run for a national championship. I don't know how much more they can do in the offices. Rowdy was nice enough to give us a tour. Seems like they don't need a lot of work, but if you do, FCO Development, they specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthwork, site clearing, house pads, ponds, demo work, hurricane cleanup. Call Tyler Ledet. That is Tyler, Tyler, Ledet, at 318-229-5585.
Where are they based out of?
Lafayette, Louisiana. Member at Oakbourne. Member guest coming
Well,
up.
I mean, you don't have to give them all those
Oh,
details.
yeah, I'm just saying if you want to catch him out
What does
there.
that have to do with FCO?
Nothing. It does nothing. Our friends at FCO Development, we love you. We appreciate you. We love your partnership. They're really good people.
That's
Give
the
them a
read
call.
he sent me.
Huh?
He sent me a special read. That's why he
Oh,
wanted me to
okay.
mention
About him
it.
being at Oakbourne and everything?
All right, we're going to take a 30-second break. Let Joe get out of here. Then we're going to shut the show down with our couple seggies and send you on your merry way. All right, you're watching Mike Dale. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Let's
Like, hell, maybe you can have. Are you gonna have a Heineken Silver for the game? Maybe.
I kind of want one now.
You gonna shotgun another one?
You want another? I don't know if you should shotgun because we saw how that went last time. You
I don't know.
won.
I feel like you got to redeem yourself.
I think
know.
you can have a drink. I don't think you should shotgun it.
The way it went,
I'll
I think
enjoy
you should,
this
I think
one.
you should chug it, but maybe not shotgun it.
the way it went last time, it's
Yeah, I can do. I mean, I
can't
can
sip
do
it.
anything. I know. All right, fuck it.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Go for it. There.
Oh, that's much
There you
better.
go.
1, 2,
Open
Three,
it up a little bit. You know what I
4,
mean?
5, 6, 7, 8,
Okay.
9,
Okay. It's
10,
now it's starting to drip. Now
11,
you're struggling a little bit.
12,
It's pretty good.
13.
13
Not bad.
seconds. I'll give you
Not
a 13.
bad.
12 and a half seconds there. How was it? Was it good?
Delicious. You
It was
can't
very
do that
delicious. With a regular one.
with a regular one.
Right.
You can only do that with the silver.
With the silver, why? Because the silver's lighter. It's got
Lighter.
95 calories. It's pretty crisp.
I
So
res-
that's not even. That wasn't even cold. I know you don't necessarily need a cold beer. That was room temp.
That's
But
the
I respect
fraternity
how
days
quickly
to
you
me.
turned around and gave me a full sentence. That was quick. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
No
officer,
doubt.
I'm fine.
Respect
You've
that.
been, look, you've been
Walk the
around
straight
before.
line, kid.
Yeah,
You've been around before, but
it's just breakfast.
It's a very good beer. It's
It
a
is.
very light beer. It's something that you can
Easy to drink.
easy to drink,
Easy to pour.
Yeah. But it's something that I think it should be in the rotation at tailgates, especially with LSU baseball coming up. We'll get into some of the LSU baseball conversation. Welcome back to Miked Up. We are going to send you home in the rain, in this thunderstorm, so that you don't have to listen to us if your internet's about to go out because you get real thunder and lightning. We're gonna shut this
I don't
thing
even
down.
like you mentioning those words.
We're gonna shut this down here soon. We have our segments. We have the mistake of the day is brought to you by our Dozy place. I did not touch that one. That just fell. I did not touch that one.
I'm just glad there isn't goldfish behind it today.
That was we don't have any more in there.
Slim pickings here, coach, if you're trying to eat.
If you missed our show and you didn't see Jay's interview, if you haven't, before his actual Jay Johnson show,
100.
just under 100. You can go back and watch it. Please like and subscribe to our page because we clip them. We put different. If you don't want to watch the whole interview, we have different clips of different answers that he had. He was a great interview as always, and obviously Joe Ratty just got out of the studio talking
Caught a
about
little flack
women's
for
Out of
being
the
basketball.
studio,
short.
straight off the flight.
Huh?
Said we cut a little flack for being short, and it's like, what? The man's got obligations.
For Jay. I mean, I had to. I mean, he gave
That's
me
what I'm
that 20
saying.
minutes.
Yeah, the man's he's got to go eat ribs.
I was very happy that he was able to come on the show for the 20 minutes because
appreciate the man.
I like being the first one to talk to him.
Exactly.
The
Evil twins aren't going to ask the same questions.
Yeah, outside of the press conferences that he has. But all right, let's go. Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends down at Dozy Place. What do you got?
I believe this is your boy, JT Realmuto.
That is my boy.
And after I may have showed my ass a little bit, whether it be at the stadium or during the live stream on Friday with my beef with the umpire, I can't help it. These guys.
This guy deserves it.
Yeah, he deserves every bit of it.
This is what it's come to. That you give what's the old adage? You give an inch, they take a mile. Mm-hmm. And here you have an umpire who feels like he's been.
First of all, look at JT's
now
face.
here's the action right here.
If JT has that ability to
The
say
umpire
I'm
felt like Realmuto took it
without looking at you, then he's an alien.
And then, let's get this. I know this right here gives you a lot, but it doesn't even give you full context. So if everybody didn't see the full video is literally there hasn't been another pitch thrown. What just happened right before this video picked up is the umpire threw the ball back to Craig Kimball, I think, who's on the mound.
Which they love to do.
Who's walking back to the
after JT put his glove out.
Who's walking back to the mound? Right, he gets to about the grass of the mound, the cut of the mound. Realizes he doesn't like this ball, so he throws it away and asks for another ball. JT, who had just asked for the last ball, but the umpire threw it, asked for a ball again. As he's looking at as he's looking at Craig, realizes that the ball's not in his glove, so puts his glove down. Umpire tries to drop it in. So the umpire, for some reason, thought he was trying to be a smart ass, and he wasn't. The umpire had just thrown a ball 10 seconds before that.
Complete show, dude.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
And this is a spring training.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Here's the thing. When it comes down to this for me is I love human interaction. I think human interaction in sports is a big factor of what makes things so special, right? We don't need robo-umps. You need real umpires. But what you also need is another crew of them because there needs to be they need to be reprimanded like players are. They need to be held to standards. They need to be held to standards just like players are. And there needs to be some kind of
repartee
for their actions.
It always feels like the umpires have a chip on their shoulder. Like, you think that you're better than me, so I'm going to make sure that I feel like I am equal to you. And that's not the case. You have your job to do. You're a professional. I have my job to do. I'm a professional. I don't like the stuff that you do.
I don't play the game anymore, but a lot of people don't understand that, especially when you get to pro ball. It's huge that you have to know the umpires' names. Now, understand, I'm not saying this in the sense of you don't matter. I don't know your name, but let's not act like you have to find out my name.
Sir.
Let's not act like you have to find out my name the same way I have to find out your name.
Right.
It's written on your card. It's called out 3 or 4 times a game. It's on the scoreboard. You know my name because of that. Maybe you know it before that. because I don't know your name, because I don't see you every weekend, because it's not on everything, it ain't on the back of your jersey, and if I didn't know your name, shouldn't be held against me the way a lot of umpires do. And it's crazy how that goes.
It's a power trip, and I can't. It's never gonna go away, and it pisses me off. You're getting some of them are good. Some of them you can have conversations with, but some of them do that. And it's just like, come on, dude, what are you doing?
I mean, I played catcher.
It's a good mistake of the day.
I played catcher for a good bit, and that is the first wheel you grease. Is you get out there early, you talk to him, you shoot shit.
Same as a hitter.
Yeah, exactly. But you have extra time back there with them, where you're back there y'all are basically working together in a sense if you can massage it the right way. And this guy, that just, I mean, when it comes to the umpires, what do you want to do? Play? Do you want your name on the back of the jersey? We can do that. It's a big high school energy from the umpire every time something like this pops up.
I hate it. That's a good mistake of the day. Good job. Proud
Thank you.
Proud
and it's your guy.
Curtain calls.
Brought to you by.
Brought to you by our friends down at Assure Partners.
And?
Me. And me.
Which one do we want to do first? Who wants to lead
which
it
is
off?
yours?
Mine. Well, he hit on mine that was going to be the boozy.
I will lead it off. My curtain call of the day is so Kansas State finally took a loss in the tournament. I think I actually had them losing in this round, if I believe.
I have nobody in my Final Four.
I don't think I have anybody there.
You do,
I think my entire bracket is like cooked at this point. But they finally lost with a great run. They lost to FAU. Kansas State's head coach, after the game, goes into FAU's locker room and basically commends them on their performance, on what they've done, and basically gives his stamp of approval for them through the rest of the tournament. Super classy, an unbelievable coach, and obviously people love playing for him. He's obviously a great dude.
Damn, good for him. You don't see that a lot.
Your togetherness, your
and some, you know what? The sad thing is some people are not going to
like the way you
communicate. You're going to have something to say bad about it because
I like it. I don't think it needs to happen every time, and there's certain times, whatever.
But this is genuine.
This is
right?
genuine.
Like, he didn't bring a camera. Like, that's just it's genuine.
Well, a lot of people will give him shit for that because of what Coach K used to do whenever he would go into the other team's locker room after he lost. It's like, who are you to talk to my team? There's a difference between being genuine and feeling like you're the papal state of the sport.
Right.
You know, and this is a guy that's like, we went on a run. Y'all are going on an unbelievable run. This tournament's been nuts. Congratulations. Go win the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yep.
You got one?
Yes, I do. Mine is It also has to do with LSU women's basketball. Obviously, a lot has been made of Kobe Bryant passing. They have a relationship with LSU women's basketball and Kim Mulkey, and she gifted the entire team the Grinch babies, which are impossible to find.
Vanessa Bryant did.
Yes, Vanessa Bryant did. And so she's passed them out to the whole team. It just goes to show how quickly a team can go from irrelevant, which it felt like LSU basketball was 2 years ago, to now you're getting probably one of the bigger, if not the biggest name in the sport, and Vanessa Bryant and Kobe Bryant, and getting these shoes, and how easy it is, like how well Kim Mulkey is able to grease these wheels and make things work to where it's amicable for everybody. It just grows the brand to a whole nother level, and it just goes to show how fast you can do it in one day, or when I say 1 day, in 2 years.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, mine. We're gonna stay on the women's college basketball train. My curtain call is to Caitlin Clark. If you haven't watched her play basketball, you're missing out. And listen, a lot of people can say a lot of different things about women's basketball, college women's basketball, but watching her, I would pay to watch her play. She is exciting. She is electric. She step back three-pointers. She's pulling up from the logo. She was 8 of 15, I think, from the three-point line. Or 7, whatever it was, 7 or 8 threes last night. She scored 41 points, had 12 assists, 10 rebounds, and had 4 steals. Like, she single-handed, and they scored 97 points. They're a 2 seed. They're going to play the winner of South Carolina and Maryland. Who's South Carolina playing today? I don't know. Whoever South Carolina, they are in the Final Four, and I think with her, they have a chance to win whatever game they play. Hopefully, that they play LSU in the finals and LSU beats them. But she is electric. ESPN today, like Jason Williams, all these guys were calling her
Georgetown coach,
the most exciting player in basketball, in college basketball, men's and women's. And that's saying a lot. She'll shout out to Caitlin Clark because I watched it last night and I'm like, damn, this girl is unreal. Unreal. Range for days. It's like,
they will play Maryland. Impressive. Virginia Tech will play Ohio State.
Maryland beat South Carolina?
No, number 1 seed South Carolina taking on Maryland, and number 1 seed Virginia Tech playing Ohio State.
I understand.
So Virginia Tech won, so they will be playing Virginia Tech.
No, Virginia Tech has not played yet.
No, that's on LSU's side of the bracket. So I guess
South Carolina's playing Maryland right now.
So they'll play the winner of South Carolina, Maryland.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, we got there.
We only care about the LSU side of the bracket.
Yeah, we got there. Well, I mean, this matters because you're going to face them in the finals. But
she's a nightmare. It reminds me a lot of Steph Curry at Davidson. Whatever, doesn't matter who you are, he could be drop 40 on your head, and 41. It only takes one person.
She's the only player in the history of basketball, college basketball, to have a 30-point triple-double and a 40-point triple-double. She did it. Nobody's ever done what she just did last game, and she did it. So.
And they started off slow until she got going. I think she had 15 in the first. But it was after.
She had 23, I think, at half.
Yeah, I mean, that's just somebody that you have to watch out for. Even if LSU, if they're able to beat, if that's an LSU matchup, that's somebody that can change the game quickly. It's different than an Angel Reese who, much has been made of her ability to score the basketball, whatever, but she's a double-double machine. This is a totally different brand of basketball.
Absolutely. Great show today, boys. We appreciate everybody watching. We appreciate everybody listening.
We appreciate everybody that came on and came in.
Yep, came on and came in. Jay Johnson and Joe Ratty. We appreciate.
Practicing
for what?
Bro, keep going, bro. Just keep going.
I don't understand what he's talking about.
Just don't.
He always gets in the
Don't indulge.
He always gets in my
I knew exactly what he. Just don't indulge. Keep going.
If you like what you've seen and you like watching us, please like and subscribe to our page. Pressing the thumbs up thing really does help us out. We appreciate that.
And the subscribe.
And the subscribe button helps us out. We would like to continue to grow our channel. The more that we grow it, the more stuff that you're going to be able to see and more content that you're going to be able to get. If you don't like to watch or you can't watch because of the job or you're on the road or anywhere you get your podcast, please download it. You can listen to us. I know some of our elements in the show are visual, but it's okay. You can imagine that you're doing it with us.
Just watch it on your phone while you drive.
No, don't do that.
Like Ronnie Rand.
Don't listen to Lloyd. LSU baseball plays tomorrow. If you're going to go to the game, great. Thursdays begins the huge series with Tennessee. We will see you on Wednesday, though. Before that, to preview the series, have some conversation with Kendall Rogers, who is the national writer for D1 Baseball. He's going to come on and talk about the landscape of college baseball, SEC baseball, and what this series means to college baseball, and maybe a couple other guests, depending on timing and see what it goes. We also have Ask Mikey and Mitch on Wednesday. It is back. I am back in the studio on the Wednesday. So Ask Mikey and Mitch. Put your questions on Twitter, hashtag AskMNM or hashtag Ask Mikey and Mitch. Put them on Twitter. Send them to us in the chat, whatever you want to do.
Get them all going. We'll answer them all.
Ask as many as you want. We're looking forward to it. We enjoy the Ask Mikey and Mitch segment.
What day do you think the tailgate will be?
Thursday. I just told you that.
We're going to tailgate Thursday for the first game?
Yeah, why not?
I don't have work Friday. Show.
I mean, we're tailgating, Friday? Not post-gating. We're tailgating. So it's going before the game.
You know how those can trickle into.
No, I'm not tailgating after. So I'm just tailgating before.
Mardi Gras.
So, and you know what, Mardi Gras, fuck it.
Fuck it. And small mini curtain call to Sam Burns, just
absolutely back on track.
Collected
Valspar always gets him back where he needs to be. He almost won it for the third year.
He did win it.
No, he came out the Valspar.
Oh no, not the Valspar, but he won the match play.
He won. I know. The Valspar gets him back on track.
Oh, for this one. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, you're selective hearing.
Well, I'm watching the chat.
We appreciate that. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you on Wednesday, live from 6 to 8. We love you. Peace.
We do love you. And I love you.
And we will see you Wednesday.
Yes,
and I love you.
We're here.
And I will see you Wednesday. Got a piece of the net. That's pretty cool.
Huh? That is pretty cool.